Trent Grisham will lead off against the right-hander Davis Martin.
Swing and a miss on the change. Good pitch by Davis Martin to start the ball game.
This changeup has really made his repertoire.
Baseball fans, buckle up. Tonight, we witnessed a roller coaster of a game that had everything. Towering home runs, clutch hits, baffling errors, and a grand slam that absolutely erupted the stadium. You won't believe how this one unfolded. Welcome to Baseball Extra. What a start to this series. Tonight's matchup had all the makings of a classic, and it absolutely delivered. We're breaking down every pivotal moment from a game where the Yankees ultimately triumphed over the White Sox with a dominant 10-4 victory in Chicago. Let's dive right into the action, because there's so much to unpack. Our first spotlight lands on Davis Martin, who was on the mound for his 20th start of the year. Coming off a couple of absolutely brilliant outings, expectations were high for Martin. His ERA hovered just under 4. A solid number for a starting pitcher. We knew he was capable of racking up strikeouts and keeping walks to a minimum, and his ops again sat at a respectable 756. However, that hard hit rate of 46% was a bit of a red flag that we see come into play later. The game kicked off with Christian stepping up to the plate against Martin. A swing and a miss on a beautifully placed changeup from Martin set the tone initially. This changeup, a crucial part of his repertoire, really helps to make his pitches so deceptive. Martin showed early dominance, fanning 2 batters to start the game, looking sharp. But then, an outside changeup missed its mark, resulting in ball 4. And that's when things took a turn. Up stepped Cody Bellinger, batting cleanup, and he absolutely demolished a high drive to right field. Forget looking up, that ball was gone. A 2-run homer for Cody Bellinger, and just like that, the Yankees were up 2-0. This is exactly what happens in Major League Baseball when that key changeup isn't perfectly executed. If a pitcher relies on it, and it's either off or the batter is expecting it, they're ready to pounce. Bellinger certainly was. That was his 26th home run of the season, and you've got to admit, this guy's been simply unbelievable. Now, let's shift our focus to the other side of the mound. For the Yankees, it was with Warren making his 28th start. Warren came into this game with a 7-6 record and a 4.47 ERA. We pulled up the Baseball Extra scouting report for Warren, and one thing stood out. His fastball, while effective, might have been a bit too much of a good thing. We saw an alarming 18 runs scored against his fastball, which is quite high. Interestingly, he only threw it 22% of the time against Boston in his last outing, a stark contrast to his 38% season average. He did not pitch well in that game, underscoring the importance of mixing in his breaking ball and changeup effectively. The White Sox then started to mount a threat. Back-to-back 2-out singles put runners on first and third. Benintendi, who had a 3-hit game last night, stepped up to the plate. He flied out to left center, allowing Warren to escape the jam. So, after 1 inning, the Yankees held a 2-0 lead. A solid start for the visitors, but you could already sense the tension building. The second inning for the Yankees began with the dynamic Jazz Chisholm Jr., the all-star second baseman, leading things off. And what a statement he made. Chisholm absolutely crushed one to right field. The outfielder could only watch it sail, and that ball was gone. Home run number 26 for Jazz Chisholm Jr., extending the Yankee lead to 3-0. This kid is electric. And here's a fantastic piece of Baseball Extra trivia for you. With that home run, Jazz joins Alfonso Soriano and Alex Rodriguez as the only Yankees to have at least 8 homers and 8 stolen bases in any single month. That's elite company right there. The White Sox tried to respond. Ryan McMahon swung and missed, striking out. Then came the struggling Anthony Vogt, who was a dismal one for his last 37 at the plate. He rolled a ball back to the mound, which the pitcher missed. It had a funny spin, and for a moment, it looked like it might be a lucky break for Vogt, a single that could turn things around. But no, it was ruled an error on the exchange. The pitcher fielded it cleanly, but just dropped it when trying to transfer it for the throw. Grisham then worked a walk, putting runners on first and second. This brought up Ben Rice. Rice delivered a clutch hit, drilling a ball into right center field that got down for a base hit. Vogt scored, making it a 2-out RBI single for Ben Rice, and the Yankees now had a commanding 4-0 lead. Will Warren was pitching with a comfortable lead, facing the bottom of the order. But then, disaster struck for the White Sox defense.
Third, going to be one play across the diamond, offline.
An easy one-handed sweep attempt failed,
Rice
and the
rounding
ball
third.
didn't stay in the glove. Oh man, that's an E6. a routine play that absolutely has to be made in professional baseball. The bases were loaded due to an error, a walk, and a hit by pitch. You often hear that when a pitcher is having a tough start, you might need to hit the ball over the fence to support him. Well, the White Sox were about to do just that. Miguel Vargas stepped up for his second at bat, and he absolutely blasted one. That was a grand slam. And just like that, the game was tied at 4 runs apiece. The White Sox had been getting to fastballs all night, and Vargas connected with a 94-mile-an-hour sinker that was up in the zone. He hit every stitch of that baseball. That was the first hit of the inning, and suddenly, we had a brand new ball game. As we've discussed so many times on Baseball Extra, if you give teams extra outs, they're going to hurt you. The White Sox weren't done. A 4-pitch walk followed the grand slam. You just don't want to see that, especially when your team has just tied the game for you. However, a ground ball led to a double play, a big momentum shift. Bellinger was off with the pitch, but luckily for him, it didn't cost them anything. The Yankees fought back in the 5th. Anthony Volpe, who had been struggling, snapped his 0 for 25 and 1 for 38 slump with a double down the left field line. The Yankees bench absolutely erupted. Then Rice slapped the ball to left field, a great start to the inning. Aaron Judge then chopped a fair ball to third. It was a potential one play across the diamond, but the throw was offline. Judge was safe, and Rice, rounding third, noticed the ball hadn't been picked up. He scored as Judge advanced to second. There was a concerning moment as Vargas went down after trying to pick up the ball at first. You immediately worry about a broken hand or wrist in that situation. Fortunately, he seemed to be okay, but you could see him favoring his left wrist. Vargas was eventually taken out of the game, and we all hoped for a clean X-ray report for him. Bellinger ended up at second with a double, and Judge at third. However, a rundown caught both Judge and Bellinger was tagged out. Not the best base running there, definitely something we'd highlight in a Baseball Extra blooper reel. 1 out later, with runners at the corners, Jazz Chisholm Jr. stepped up again. He skied one into right field. The outfielder made the catch, and Judge tagged up from third. He was safe at home, scoring easily. It was now a 6-4 game, with the Yankees regaining the lead. The 8th inning brought more offense for the Yankees. Goldschmidt reached on an error, the third error by the White Sox that night. Then, he drilled one into right center field that went all the way to the wall. McMahon to second, Goldschmidt held up at third. The Yankees were set up with runners on second and third. Nobody out. This was a crucial scoring opportunity. Volpe, who was having a very productive offensive evening, hammered a ball into center field. The center fielder drifted back and made the catch. Goldschmidt tagged and scored, and McMahon moved to third. It was a sacrifice fly for Anthony Volpe, extending the Yankee lead to 7-4. Then, Grisham stepped up and hit an absolute laser. Home run number 27 for Grisham, and the Yankees now led 9-4. What an offensive display. The Yankees were red hot, boasting 33 home runs in their last 10 games, tying for the most in a 10-game span in Major League Baseball history. That's a statistic that certainly belongs in our Baseball Extra record books. Now, let's talk about Devin Williams. We looked at his last 7 appearances, and tonight, he looked like he had absolutely refound his touch. Swing and a miss, he struck him out. Williams struck out the side, looking exactly like the dominant closer the Yankees need. He set up a nice 9th inning for them. In the 9th, with runners at the corners, Paul Goldschmidt was at the plate. Chisholm took off again, stealing his 24th base of the season, and no one even bothered to throw down. Goldschmidt then shot one into right field. Bellinger tagged up, and the throw from the outfield was strong, but not quite in time. Bellinger scored, and Chisholm advanced to third. It was a sacrifice fly for Paul Goldschmidt, and the Yankees had put up double digits again. It was a 10-4 game, and the White Sox were down to their final out of the night. With 10 runs on the board, Volpe snared a line drive for the final out, and the game was over. The Yankees took care of business in this first game in Chicago, a dominant 10-4 final. What a performance, from the early home runs to the grand slam equalizer, and then the relentless Yankees offense. This game had it all. It's a testament to the unpredictable nature of Major League Baseball. That wraps up our detailed breakdown of tonight's thrilling game on Baseball Extra. We covered everything from pitching performances to offensive explosions and critical defensive plays. If you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to like this video, share it with your fellow baseball fanatics, and most importantly, Subscribe to Baseball Extra for more in-depth coverage and analysis of all things baseball. We'll see you next time.